My name's Theresa Clower. I am a portrait artist, and among other things that I've done, but yeah, I'm a portrait artist. And I developed a program called Into Light. It's a project that honors people who have died from drug addiction through art. So I honor those by doing graphite portraits. And the design of the project is, it's inspired by my son Devin, who passed away last year in Baltimore, just about 18 months ago. And Dev's death just propelled me into needing to do something to process that grief. I just couldn't sit in that spot. And so I did his portrait. It's the first portrait I ever actually done. And as I said, that's the inspiration for my doing others. So now I have an exhibition called Into Light, and it is 41. There are 41 graphite portraits of individuals in the greater Baltimore area who died from drug addiction, the disease of drug addiction. And they are on display from October the 28th through November 22nd at Notre Dame of Maryland University. And I was so fortunate to be able to partner with the university on this project.
I would say it's definitely helped some. I mean, it's beautiful to be able to be a part of this. It helps me feel like we're educating other people, and then they can see all of these faces. There's so many people that were really important to everyone. He was really important to us.
He's the most important here.
He's the most important here, Remy says. That people realize that these people were really important and that they're gone, and that this can be prevented if we're educating our children really young.
This is not my first time experiencing this. And I think this kind of hit me a little hard because I totally was not expecting this. And to lose 2 children is bad enough to lose 1. And when you lose 2, it's devastating. It's devastating. So I guess that's what kind of helped get me through getting involved with, communicating with Theresa, communicating with Cheryl, and just being able to have somebody to talk to that's been through what I've been through.
We were together 15 years, and we went through a lot of stuff together, like both of us, using, it took us down a bad road, and it's really sad because people are dying every day. It's okay. And kids gotta go through it. Missing their dad and their mom and grandmoms, and the hurt, the pain, the loneliness.
Knowing Theresa's work and her and I going back and forth with the actual photo, first of all, it was very hard to find a photo of my own. That was very, I want to say, therapeutic, but difficult at the same time to choose a photo. And then to see her work as a charcoal print was powerful, knowing that every little piece of that drawing was a task for her. And actually my son is a graphic artist, and he had done charcoal prints, and I think that's probably one of my reasons that I was really interested in seeing this displayed.
41. Does anyone want to know why 41? That begs the question.
Everybody wants to know why it's 41. Okay. Well, it's because every 5 hours in our country, 41 people die from this epidemic. 70,000 people in 2017 died from this epidemic. That's more than all of those we lost in Vietnam. And that's 1 year. This has touched every single household, every single family in this country in one way or another.
When Theresa talked about doing this show and how it was a very personal show for her, she lost her own son to drug addiction, and that this was a way of kind of bringing into the light these people who we've lost. And I thought about the work that's happening at Notre Dame with, our pharmacy faculty and students who are working in this like harm reduction very directly, training people to use naloxone, really looking at the pharmacological side of the drug addiction crisis. I thought about our School of Nursing and how many of our students are really training to become the people who take care of people in need and in these situations, and to care for them and see them as human beings and not as just a statistic. I thought about our psychology students and our criminology students and the way that they're dealing with, on the research side of these issues. And I thought about art therapy, which is, a new program for us and is kind of one of our flagship programs, that we're the only school in Maryland that has that program for undergraduates. And what Theresa was talking about doing, the way she came to this project of like making art as a way of working through her own grief, that felt like a version, her own version of art therapy. And I thought, what a great way to potentially get our art therapy students to think about ways that they can, work with people struggling with addiction or families of people struggling with addiction, and thinking about those tie-ins. So it just felt like there were all these different factors that fit in.
This is a really important program for multiple reasons. One, on campus, because the state has mandated that all universities have a naloxone or an overdose training on campus so that students know how to respond if there is an overdose. The other reason is just the general fact that we're in Baltimore City and that we're humans, and that as people we probably will encounter opioids, whether illegal or illicit, loved ones, friends, strangers, that we might want to know how to help someone. And this is just a way to help keep people alive.
It signifies like the pain and everything that goes along with like drug addiction, but then like the splatters of color, it's kind of like what I think is like the light at the end of the tunnel.
I was struck by the YPR interview. There's been so much great press and awareness in the media from this exhibit. Thank you, Dr. Ruster, for all of that. But it really, when you hear her talk about when I drew the lines of my son's face, when I signed my name, I get a little bit of goosebumps. I signed my name to the portrait, I knew then. And this idea of how do you find that path for healing when every day you're worried, is this the day?
These portraits will be gifted to each family. Every family in the show will be together on November 22nd, just before Thanksgiving. We're going to join together for what's called a gifting gathering. And they're going to come just to private. It's not open to the public. It's just the families that have their loved and lost, and they'll be given these. But yes, the intent of this project, I can't stop, because I'm already getting calls from places like Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Portland, Oregon, Delaware. They're interested in a similar show. So what I'll do is, Notre Dame is my inaugural. I'll learn a lot here. I know my model now. I want a university or college setting, because that takes the whole concept to a much, much deeper level. And then I'll go.